sun shining through. This is amazing.
And look, there's like little clouds right there.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, we
so cool.
just came through the clouds. Perfect.
This is the plateau viewpoint.
Oh yeah, you can look down at the clouds now, where we drove through. All right, we'll see what kind of view we can get here. So we decided to stop here, even though it's so cloudy. Take a look at this. But look at that view, it's amazing. This is the road that heads out to Dead Horse Point. And that was quite a curvy little spot down there with a tiny bit of slushy, thin ice, but not really too icy. I guess it was mostly just wet. But we stopped at this view area. That's the first one on the right as you come up that hill. Oh, it's so pretty. And I always love these petrified dunes that they have around here. I think it's really neat. And they're not slick, so it's pretty easy to get around. And come up here and take some really pretty pictures. Kent's gonna get some really great shots, I can tell. What are we looking at down in there? Let's see, this is on the... We're actually looking at the east side of that road. We don't have a view right into Arches, no. But this is just really pretty. Yeah.
These two.
Yeah. What are those called?
Those are fairly well known. They're the Merrimack and the Monitor.
Oh right. Yeah. All right. Merrimack and Monitor viewpoint is the one we're at, and those there they are. Which one is Merrimack and which is Monitor? Do we know?
No idea.
Look at a little bit of light that's appearing up on the top of that one. Oh, that's so gorgeous. We didn't know if we'd stop. I was like, I don't know if we're going to be able to see anything. And then as soon as we parked and Kent said, oh, let's just try. You could tell that the clouds shift really fast and you could start seeing some of the prominent points around here. So we'll make a few stops on the way and see if we can get down on the road to Dubinky Well next. See what it looks like. Binky Well Road, but a little different viewpoint from the last time we tried to get to Dubinky Well Road. Is it okay if I bring that up again, dear? It was a good day. It was a fun day. Well, for me, also. So we stopped here yesterday, kind of late. It was just before the sun was setting, so we didn't really stay very long. So this is the first stop at Dubinky Well. And we found some agate, didn't we?
Some red. It wasn't very translucent.
Yeah.
Beautiful red color.
Right.
I'd say more of a chalcedony.
I would say so. So I think we're going to try to look a little further up this hill, which is what our book says, and see what we can find. What is that book? Show me the front cover, will you? There you go. That one. All right.
So here we are on Dubinky Wells Road, or Dubinky Well, maybe. Pretty view. We're looking this way out towards Canyonlands. And This direction is towards Dead Horse Point. Can't see either of those from here. And the directions we had took us a little farther down, about where the pinyon and juniper zone starts, and then said the long or the low flat area above it is where to find the agate, blood red agate. I don't think we've really found blood red agate, but we found a lot of interesting stuff. It says find it in the limestone cap. Here's the limestone cap. This is the first we've really been to it. We'll look around here. We have been. And what we've seen is a lot of banded chalcedony more than anything. Do you want to turn that on the side where we can see it? And you can see the color in that, how pretty it is. There's a lot of stuff like this here. We haven't found anything that's translucent necessarily.
Yeah.
Found some nice pieces. We'll climb up just a little further here. But if this is the kind of rock you like, lots of chunks all over. It really stands out in the red dirt here. Really pretty. And some large chunks that would be easy to cut. There's a pretty good sized chunk.
Yeah, I think over this whole top area and then down into that is covered with that stuff.
Really pretty pieces of purple. You can see some of that there. I've already picked up a handful of pieces that I'm going to see how I can cut, how they cut up. I'm a little worried that the lines, that the banding might make it so that it fractures a little bit too easily. So I haven't taken a lot, but it's so pretty. It's really gorgeous stuff here. And as you can see, it's really just everywhere.
What do you think we found so far?
Well, I don't know.
Seems like
this is
not so translucent for the most part.
not so translucent, but very banded.
Okay.
It has the smooth texture of chalcedony or agate. The book called it agate, but I think most people would say this is chalcedony. But I found a couple of pieces like this one.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is sort of like the owl draw agate where we had the white covering on it.
Right.
And if we cut some of that white exterior off, I think we're going to see agate inside there.
Yeah.
You can almost see it peeking through. There's another piece here that has some stuff that looked like it might be more translucent once we cut into it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be hard to know until we take it to the blade. But the colors
That's a cool
are
piece.
really
Yeah.
pretty.
And it's all over this area, isn't it?
Yeah, this is just everywhere.
Even in the road.
It's everywhere. And I've got a couple of pieces I think are too fractured to cut, but I'm going to try it later anyway and just see how they cut up. Because the design in it is pretty amazing too.
I do like that.
Yeah, the patterns in some of these, like that one, I think is really pretty, but I think it might not cut. I think that's more likely to cut with the banded.
Oh yeah.
And then I've got just a couple of pieces that are bigger chunks. We'll cut into those later and see how they turn out.
All right. I'm excited to see
There's
how
also
they do.
this one.
Oh, what's that?
Which I'm not sure about yet, but it could just be a nice piece of quartz, but it's a little bit opaque, so we'll take it home and cut it.
All right. Just
In
gonna.
any case, Dubinky Well Road.
We made it to the Binky Well Road. Yeah, there's another spot they talk about. This is kind of that first spot in the book that's the flat upper area. We came up a little bit of a hill, and then I think we're supposed to go about 3-ish miles further. There's some blue sky. This is looking really promising for today.
Still 30 degrees.
It's still really cold, but you know, we're bundled up. It's not wet, not raining or anything. So we're just enjoying the views and find a little bit of agate and rocks. So I just picked up a few examples of what I found up there. There's less of this color. That's kind of more in the orange range. Probably a lot more of the stuff that has this pink and kind of a milky bluish. So I just found a few examples of it because, you know, the hill's covered with it. I think these are cool. It's interesting.
It is interesting.
Chalcedony.
I think it'll be interesting to see how it cuts up.
Yeah, I think it's just chalcedony with, looks like you found some.
So I might
some
have
agate.
found 2 pieces of agate. It's hard to know. This has some of that white coating on it that we see in other places in this region.
Yep, lots of it.
But that looks more translucent right there than maybe some.
That'll be fun to cut.
So we'll cut that and see kind of how that turns out. And then it's kind of hard to see in this piece. Like most of it looks like this with the banding, and it seems like when we cut it, it's probably going to fracture. We've got some pieces to try that with, but this chunk right here in the center of this big piece has some translucence in it, I think, and we'll try and cut that part out. You can see the great banding in this. It's just
very cool.
There's a lot of banding here between the red and the white, some black banding in there, but then I think it gets translucent in the middle. We'll see. Again, on this side it doesn't look nearly as promising, but we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah. Oh, look at this old place. Oh, it has a sign. It's the Dubinky Well of Dubinky Well Road. Oh, it's in 1937. Okay. Pretty cool. So one of the Civilian Conservation Corps projects. This area, apparently.
You can see who made somebody from Chicago made the
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Here we are on Bartlett Rim Trail. Stephanie's being rotten.
I lost my marble.
They look kind of like monkey marbles, don't they?
Yeah. See, it pops out of the... Usually it's like a sandstone mixture.
I think they're usually a little more round and harder.
Well, yeah, it's hard. It's round. They're not always perfect. Look, you can roll them. There goes. Okay. Anyway.
All right, let's see what you got.
I thought this color was pretty. But you can tell there's agate in there. We can see it better. It's not all the milky stuff. Oh, there's my other marble.
What I thought was interesting is we're still seeing some of the purples. But there's more oranges here, I think, than we've seen before.
Yeah, and it's not all the white milky stuff.
And if you find small enough pieces, you can see through it. It becomes translucent. It isn't translucent in larger chunks for sure. And one of the other things that's kind of interesting is if you look closely at some of these pieces, it looks like they are embedded in either limestone or sandstone, whatever this material is right here. And it's kind of interesting. There's another piece right there that's fully embedded. And what I don't know is if these are carried as float from other locations or if they're eroding out of the sandstone. Hard to know.